The morning light streamed through the curtains, casting a warm glow over the small but cozy apartment that you shared with Leon and your son Jacob, 3 years old and the sweetest soul you'd ever come to know. Sitting at the table with his cereal, swinging his little legs in delight. "Come on, buddy," Leon called from the door, keys jangling in his hand. "Time to get to school before your mom or I eat your snacks." Jacob giggled, his face lighting up, as he jumped up from his chair and ran over to Leon. "No, Daddy, those are mine." You chuckled as you handed Jacob his tiny backpack. "We wouldn't dare, Jacob. You've got all the best snacks in the house, don't you?" Leon grinned, his blue eyes twinkling. "Ready?" Jacob nodded enthusiastically, taking Leon's hand as he followed them to the car, watching as Jacob got buckled into his car seat with practiced ease. The drive to Jacob's preschool was filled with chatter and Jacob's little voice bubbling with excitement as he talked about his friends and what he hoped to learn today. When you arrived, Jacob turned to you and Leon with wide, curious eyes. "Will you be here when school's done?" he asked, curiously. Leon crouched to his level, brushing a strand of Jacob's dark hair from his face. "Always, buddy. We'll be right here waiting for you." He leaned down, giving him a kiss on the cheek. "Have fun today, sweetheart. We love you." Jacob beamed. "Love you too, Mommy. Love you, Daddy." As he trotted off to his classroom, Leon rose and slipped an arm around your waist. "He's growing up so fast," he sighed with a touch of wistfulness in his tone. You leaned into him. "Too fast. I wish we could just freeze time for a little while." Leon squeezed your waist gently. "Me too. But every day with him feels like it just gets better." Dinner that evening was quiet. Jacob was chattering away between bites of spaghetti while you and Leon exchanged amused glances. Afterwards, you helped Jacob with his bath, his laughter echoing through the apartment as he splashed around. By the time he was dressed in his favorite pajamas, Jacob was yawning, his energy finally waning. Leon carried him to his little bed, the one with the rocket ship sheets he'd picked out himself. "Story time?" Jacob asked sleepily, his big eyes looking at the both of you. Leon sat beside him, opening up a well-worn storybook that Jacob, of course, loved. "Sure, buddy. Which one tonight?" Jacob pointed to a page, his tiny finger wobbling with fatigue. "The one about the brave knight." As Leon began reading, his deep voice was soothing and steady. You sat on the other side of Jacob, stroking his soft hair as Leon read. By the time that Leon had finished the end of the story, Jacob's eyes were closed. His little hand was clutching the corner of the blanket. Leon closed the book quietly, gently leaning down to kiss Jacob's forehead. "Good night, champ. Sweet dreams." You followed suit, whispering "We love you, Jacob." Back in your bedroom, you and Leon sat in a comfortable silence, changing into your sleepwear and settling into the bed you shared. The soft hum of the night outside surrounded you. The world was muted and peaceful. Leon turned onto his side, propping his head up with one hand. He looked at you. "You ever think about how lucky we are?" You smiled, reaching out to lace your fingers with his. "All the time. I didn't think I'd ever get to have a family, like a life so normal, but with you it just feels right." His gaze softened. His thumb brushes against your knuckles. "I feel the same. After everything, I didn't think I deserved this, but when you came along and Jacob..." You shifted, resting your forehead against his. "You deserve all of this, Leon, and more. You're an amazing partner and an incredible father. Jacob adores you, and so do I." Leon closed his eyes briefly, a quiet smile tugging at his lips. "I don't say it enough, but I love you. More than anything, you and Jacob, you're my entire world." Tears began to prickle at your eyes, but they were happy ones. "I love you too. And I know Jacob does more than anything. that he can probably say. He's got the best dad in the world. Leon chuckled softly, his free hand brushing a strand of hair from your face. You're not too bad yourself, you know. Jacob's lucky to have you. You tilted your head, teasing him. And not just Jacob, huh? Leon laughed, leaning in to kiss you. It was slow and tender and filled with all the love and gratitude he couldn't even put into words. When you finally pulled back, you both settled into the covers, his arms wrapping securely around you. The sound of Jacob's soft breathing from the other room was a gentle reminder of the love and the life you had built together. It was full of laughter and a warmth that you could never take for granted. As sleep began to claim you, Leon's voice broke the silence, low and content. We're doing okay, aren't we? You smile against his chest. More than okay. We're perfect. And with that, you both drifted off to sleep. But in the soft morning, you had woken up a little early for some private love. The soft sun filtered the blinds, casting golden streaks across your bedroom. The air was warm and heavy with the afterglow of intimacy. You laid intertwined with Leon, your heart still racing from the activity as you caught your breath. His hand traced lazy circles on your back, his blue eyes gazing at you with a content, sleepy smile. You're amazing, he murmured. His voice was low and rough from the night before. You chuckled, brushing a hand over his forehead to move a stray hair from it. So are you. But the peaceful silence of the aftermath was quickly interrupted by a small, tentative voice from the hallway. Mommy? You and Leon froze, utterly embarrassed, exchanging wide-eyed looks. The voice came again, a little more insistent and tightened with fear. Mommy! Leon was the first to react, sitting up and grabbing a blanket to cover both of your bodies. Jacob? The door creaked open, revealing your little boy standing there in his pajamas, clutched his favorite stuffed bunny. His hand was shaking and his face was tear-streaked, his wide eyes simmering as he stood uncertainly in the hall. You immediately sat up, holding the blanket to your chest. Jacob, sir, what's wrong? He sniffled, his tiny voice trembling. I had a nightmare. Leon slid out of bed, grabbing a t-shirt from the floor and pulling it on. As he walked over to Jacob, he crouched down to his son's level, gently brushing a tear from his cheek. Hey, it's okay, buddy. It was just a bad dream. Jacob's little arms reached out, but not for Leon. His teary gaze was fixed on you. I want Mommy. Leon glanced back at you with a soft smile, his voice teasing. Looks like I've been replaced. You gave him an affectionate look before wrapping the blanket around yourself tighter and scooting to the edge of the bed. Come here, sweetheart. Jacob didn't hesitate before running over, his little arms wrapping tightly around you as you lifted him onto the bed. He buried his face in your neck, his soft sobs muffled against your skin. Aww, you murmured, rubbing gently all over his back. It's okay, baby. Mommy's here. Nothing's gonna hurt you now. Liam climbed back into bed beside you, his arms slipping around your shoulders, wanting to hold the both of you. Wanna tell us what the dream was about, champ? Jacob shook his head, his grip tightening. No, it was scary. Okay, Leon said softly, his voice was soothing. You don't have to tell us anything, but just remember, it wasn't real. You're safe now. You kissed the top of Jacob's little head, the soft scent of his baby shampoo calming your own nerves. Do you want to stay with us for a while? Jacob nodded against your neck, his voice was small. Can I? He asked. Leon chuckled, ruffling Jacob's hair. Of course you can, buddy. There's always room for you here. You adjusted the blanket, making sure that Jacob was snug between the two of you, his little body relaxed against your own. His breathing evened out, and the remains of his nightmare faded. Leon's hand found yours under the covers, his thumb brushing against your knuckles as he leaned in. His voice was low, so to not wake Jacob up. You're incredible, you know that? He asked you. You smiled, your heart swelling with love for both of your boys. He's our little boy. How could I not be? Leon's gaze softened. His eyes filled with that same love that he'd shown the day Jacob was born. "I don't know how I got so lucky," he said to no one in particular. "You saved the world a few times," you teased gently. "The universe kinda owed you one." He chuckled, quietly resting lightly on Jacob's back. His hand rubbed him. "Even so, nothing compares to this, to you, to him." Jacob stirred slightly, his tiny hand clutching your shirt as he nestled closer. The sight of him was so small and vulnerable, yet so full of trust and love that it made your chest ache in the best way. You glanced at Leon, your voice soft. "I think we both got very, very lucky." Leon smiled, placing a tender kiss to your forehead. "Yeah, we did." For a moment, the three of you just laid there in a quiet warmth of the morning. The world outside forgotten. Eventually, Jacob's breath grew slower and deeper, his nightmare completely erased by the comfort of your presence. Leon whispered, "Should we carry him back to bed?" You shook your head, your voice equally as low and soft. "Let's just stay like this for a little longer. He feels safe here." Leon's arms tightened around the both of you, his body like a shield against anything the world might throw at your way. "Whenever you say. I could stay like this forever." As the sun climbed higher, painting the room a golden light, you closed your eyes, your family wrapped up in the kind of love and peace you'd once only thought was a dream. The morning sunlight warmed the room as you lay there, cradling Jacob's soft head against your chest. His slow breaths were steady now. His nightmare was a distant memory. Leon's arm wrapped protectively around you. You turned your head slightly, meeting Leon's gaze. His blue eyes were filled with a quiet tenderness that made your heart ache in the best way possible. "This is everything," he murmured, his voice barely above a whisper. You nodded, your fingers lightly brushing Jacob's hair. "I didn't know life could feel this full. He's our world, Leon, and you're my anchor." Leon leaned over, pressing a soft kiss to your lips, lingering just long enough to make the moment feel eternal. "And you're mine, the both of you." Jacob stirred slightly, murmuring something that you couldn't understand before settling back into sleep. You and Leon shared a quiet laugh, and the sound was filled with love. For a while, neither of you moved, savoring the stillness and the warmth of your family nestled together. In the moment, you knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, as long as you had each other, you'd be brave and you'd face them stronger, braver, and endlessly in love.